Hello everyone, my name is Sophie and welcome to the Dolfina Show. I am the maker behind the Dolfina bags and I am also the owner of Dolfina Collective. So first and foremost, I would like to thank everybody who came to Knit and Escape last weekend, well 2 weekends ago actually. It was a crazy weekend. It was amazing. I want to give a warm thanks to Chrissy Glass and Eve and the entire Knit and Escape team because it was amazing. So today, I have a pretty special guest. I am super excited to introduce to you, well, I don't think I need to introduce her, but she is actually the queen of stranded knitting. Without further ado, come with me and discover Mary Jane Mucklestone. Stay tuned. So excited that you're here with me. Thank you so much for saying yes. This is amazing.
Where am I supposed to look up there? I'm gonna pretend I'm just gonna look at you and then I'll.
Yay! Mary Jane, thank you so much for saying yes. I really appreciate this. This is amazing. You have no idea. It's like I'm talking to, like, I don't know, Oprah or Michelle Obama or something.
It's a very world we live in, so.
Oh, I know. I will be honest. I would rather meet you in person. That would be even better. But this will do.
Yes, this will do. And
Yay!
I love doing that cowl. It makes me really happy.
And it's such nice colors. I love it. So it's yarn by my friend Cabin Boy Knits, Christopher Walker. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yes. All right. I don't want to keep you too long. You're going to be answering 75 questions from the get-go. So let's get into it. Mary Jane Mucklestone, welcome to the Dolfina Show. It is an honor. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure.
So let's start by asking you, how are you feeling right now?
I guess I'm okay. You know, these questions will always make you a little bit nervous, but yeah, I'm fine.
That's awesome. What's exciting in your life right now?
What's exciting in my life right now? Well, I'm still kind of like on a roll from my book. I had a book published this year, and I just saw that it's in a little shop in Shetland. That's one of my favorite shops, called the Peary Shop, and my friend took a picture of it in the store. So yeah. I just saw that this morning, and it made me really happy.
That's awesome. What is missing in your life right now?
I can't cross the border to Canada to see my son in Montreal. So yeah, that's missing.
How do you start your morning?
First thing I do is have coffee. I like to sit in bed and have my coffee, and I do the New York Times crossword puzzle on my phone.
Okay.
It's a really easy puzzle, but I feel really happy when I do it fast.
That's good. What song can you not stop singing?
That Pata Pata song. What is it? Miriam Makeba, I think is her name. It's South African.
Okay. Cool. So you have kids?
Yes, I have 2 children. They're grown-ups though. One of my children has a child, so I'm a grandmother now too.
I know. And your daughter is named like me?
Yeah. My daughter has this and
which means wisdom in Greek. But anyways.
Well, we did, like, I chose names that you would be able to pronounce everywhere, pretty much, like a really common universal name. Although Sophie at the time wasn't very common in the United States, but now it's like really common. But But
Funny, my mom actually named my sister and I after either like actresses or otter. So I'm actually named after Sophia Loren, but in
okay, so
French it was Sophie. So
yeah, Sophia Loren. I was working in for an advertising agency in New York, and when I was pregnant, and they were coming up with a new perfume, and they were like, "Oh, what did you name your daughter? We'll use that." And I was like, "Yeah," and they were like, "Oh, there's already a perfume called that."
there you go. What was the most surprising thing about becoming a mom?
I don't know, in a way, how easy it was. Although at the first, when I first had Sophie, I was shocked at how heavy she was. And like, I would never be able to hold a baby and do something else at the same time. So, but you know, you
But
get
you
used to it.
survived. What was your favorite movie to watch with your kids when they were younger?
We lived in a country and we didn't have a TV. So let me think. Well, I know that we used to always sing Beauty and the Beast. Like we had the soundtrack and we would, so we must have seen that and we'd play all the parts.
Where do you go to get inspired?
Out my door. Actually, I can just look out my window and that's pretty inspiring. It's sort of a mix of old brick architecture, 1970s bridge and the river. So yeah, it's a good view. Industrial, and I see the big cranes that unload the ships from Iceland, that bring in the Letlopi yarn. That's what it means to me. The Icelandic ship, wool from Iceland.
Yay!
So easy. I'm inspired by everything. I'm easily amused.
I like that. Are you more manicure or pedicure?
Oh, manicure, I suppose. If I'm very bad at both of those things.
What color? I don't like asking what is your favorite color, but what color do you gravitate the most around?
Green, because and because there's no green in Maine for the longest time because it's you know, it's winter and the leaves fall off. And where I grew up, it's always green in the Pacific Northwest, because it's so wet there. And there's you know, fir trees and then like madrona trees that look deciduous but aren't. So big shiny leaves that are there all year round.
What is the best reaction you've ever had?
Oh, your questions are hard. Okay. One time I was entering an elevator in New York City, and I used to wear, because I made pointed hats, and it was Warren Beatty was coming in the elevator, and said triangula because I had a triangle hat on. So
This is amazing. I love it. Okay. When do you feel the most fulfilled?
Oh, I guess after swimming in really, really cold water and then lying on hot rocks.
Okay. When do you feel the most beautiful?
Probably the same time, or probably in the water. Then I feel the best.
Awesome.
Like right before you break the surface.
I used to do polar plunge, so I know exactly what you're talking about. Tell me one quality that would actually be a common denominator of all your friends.
Oh, curious.
Okay.
About things, and they're interested in all kinds of different things and always seeking and questioning.
Like that. Tell me something about your childhood that you would like to pass on to your grandkids.
The best creativity comes out of being bored.
Are you more tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Yeah. If you could time travel, tell me one person you'd like to actually sit down with.
I don't know, because lots of the people I like are really cranky. So I don't know if I really, really want to meet them. Yeah, I like the really, I don't know, like I'm drawing a blank. I'm actually thinking of Peggy Angus, who is the grandma of the lady, the friend who has the shop in Shetland. And she was an artist herself, and she did printmaking, and she also did like tiles that were put for industrial use. So she was a real, I suppose, in early kind of industrial designer, but really talented in all many different media. However, she was supposed to be kind of terrifying to meet in real life. I might rather be just a fly on the wall.
Fair enough. I like that. Tell me about a daily ritual that you can live without.
That I can't live without: having a cup of coffee in the morning. That's like it. Yeah.
Do you have a secret talent?
So I don't know if it's a talent, but it is sort of a talent. When I grew up, we swam on a lake, and the beach club where I went had a log, a big, cedar log, like this big around, covered with sailcloth. So laced up just like a sail, a literal canvas sailcloth. It was tied at both ends in an L-shaped dock, and we would run on it. You run on it. It was called rolling the log, and I think it's still there. And I was pretty good at it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really fun.
I like it.
You can get dry. And it
All
goes
right.
really.
Yeah, and you can really fall, and
I'm covered in bruises.
I bet. Okay, Mary Jane, if you were ruling the world, what would be the first law you would enact?
No one's allowed to be hungry. So everybody gets food. Yeah.
What disappoints you in humanity?
The inability to feed everybody in the world.
What surprises you about humanity?
That there's a lot of food and lots of people are still hungry. And not
in a lot of ways, because I worked in restaurant in my younger days, and we threw away a lot of stuff. It's kind of crazy. Yep. What does love mean to you?
Oh God, I sound like a Care Bear. Caring and sharing.
What is your dream destination? You've been a lot of places. Is there one place you haven't been yet that you'd like to go?
Oh, there's countless places to go. Right now I just want to go, I don't know. I want to go to Montreal, and I want to also go to the Pacific Northwest, where my family's from. I always want to drive the North Cascades Highway, and always, like, either the weather's weird or something, the road isn't open yet, or or it's closed. So it just hasn't, the stars. And last year it was pandemic. So when the stars align, I'll do that drive. I've done
like that.
Small child, but not for a long time.
What's your favorite cocktail?
A gin and tonic. It's very simple.
I love it. I love you. We have that in common. I love it.
It's, it's good for you.
It's really good for you. Okay. What makes you the happiest?
Hanging out with my kids.
What's the best book you read recently?
I'm in the middle of a book called The Island. What's it called? The Island of Sea Women, about Jeju Island in Korea.
Okay.
I think Lisa C is the author.
What is it about?
About the women who dive for for food, for fish and sea urchins, and so the culture of the island was traditionally run by women, and they were the breadwinners by diving in the ocean, free diving, or what we would call free diving now. So it's got history. It's a mix of contemporary and history and intertwining characters. And
tell me about your piece of paradise, because you live, from my view and from what I remember from Maine, you live in a pretty awesome space.
yeah.
What made you pick living in Maine rather than going back to the Pacific Northwest?
So that's always a problem in me, is I'm always torn between like East and West. And when I got married, my ex-husband had spent most of his life in Maine, from the time he was 12, but you still can't be considered a Mainer even. So he would be from away as opposed to a year-round summer person. And I'm from away also. Important to get these things right. I like Portland now. Now I live in the city. So I lived in Waldo County for most of the time, but now I live in Portland, and I like Portland because it reminds me of Seattle when I grew up. It's still small and manageable. So
I'll always remember when I was about 7, because for us from Montreal, it's a fairly short drive, right? I remember going to a seafood restaurant where there was a lighthouse, and I was super young, and it was foggy.
Yep.
When the siren went off.
Oh God, I know, it's so loud.
I almost fell off my chair.
Right. You went to 2 lights. I'll take you there when you come down.
Oh, I will come down. You can count on it. Okay. What's your spirit animal?
Oh, I don't know. Well,
Why?
octopus, because I just saw that movie and the octopus was such a nice thing. And they're so smart. Not that I am. It has 8 legs, which would be really handy with knitting. So yeah, we'll go with an octopus.
I like it. I like it.
Octopussy, then we can think of all those bad things. James Bond movies. I didn't see that one, but okay, yeah, I'm going off topic. Sorry.
Okay. What is one word you use too much?
Oh, I haven't used it yet, and it's bad, and it starts with an F.
I can relate. What would be the title of your biography?
Oh, God, these are, I know I should have paid attention and like watched somebody else's. Let me think. What would my biography? She has 2 hands.
I like it.
They work.
So I used to ask, what is your goal for 2021? I don't like it anymore. I say now, what is your dream for 2021?
My dream for 2021 is that everybody will get with the program and we can get rid of the pandemic and safely travel to see our loved ones again.
So I live in Ontario. So we're starting as of tomorrow our 3rd lockdown.
Well, it's better to have a lockdown than to let it go crazy. So I know it's awful and it hurts more. It's not fair to people because some people don't get to lock down. The inequity is really awful. But I think it does work. It's been proven to work. So better.
I can't wait for this thing to be over, to be brutally honest.
Vaccinated. I haven't been vaccinated twice, and by Tuesday I will have done my time afterward, but I'm still going to wear a mask because my civic responsibilities.
If you could give your 13-year-old self any advices, what would it be?
Who cares if you're weird? It's to your advantage.
Yeah, but you don't realize that when you're like 13 and you try to fit in, right?
Yeah.
Who's the last person you texted?
Oh, Nora Gone.
I love it. What's the last YouTube channel you watched?
What was I watching? I went to see Pata Pata. Maria might, because it's one of my grandson's favorite songs too. So we sing it all the time. And I wanted to learn the lyrics, but I cannot pronounce them because it's I can't even say the language because it starts with an X. It's a click. It's the click South African. It looks like Zosa, but you make a click sound instead of the X. Anyway.
Wow.
I would need a lot of linguistic help in order to be able to sing the words.
What's the last podcast you listened to?
A Smaller Life. It's Saskia I forget her last name. But she's Yawol, Jawoll. She used to have a yarn shop in Rotterdam. And she's it's called A Smaller Life, and it's like how to live basically a smaller life, a better life with less, or mindful choices.
I like that. I like that.
And it's knitting. She's a knitter. So
what's your worst habit?
I'm really distractible, I guess. I have a habit of staring into space and not doing, I suppose I'm creatively working, but it seems like I'm doing nothing. And it happens a lot.
Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Oh God, I don't know. Swimming somewhere. Hanging out in the San Juan Islands, which are the islands near Seattle. Yeah. Hopefully like down a little bit, but I know myself.
What is the biggest surprise you've ever had?
My son got married without telling me.
Were you mad?
Yeah, Sophie and I were pretty pissed off at first. It really did happen like of a morning, but we still could have gotten there if someone had just told us. So, yeah.
Oh, who do you look up the most in life?
My mom, because she's creative and even-tempered and non-judgmental. So I'm pretty lucky to have a mom like her.
She sounds lovely. What is the first thing you notice about a person?
I want to say their aura, but I don't know that I can really see them. But it's more like what you feel when you see a person. Okay,
that makes sense. I like it. What's your guilty pleasure?
Eating a whole pint of ice cream by myself.
I love it. I love it. What's the last pretty penny you spent?
What did I buy? I'm trying not to buy things, but I mean, I succumbed. I had to buy stuff for styling. I have to do a photo shoot. I got my friend a falconware pitcher, so it is enamel, like old-fashioned enamel, and I got her a green one that's really pretty.
I like it. Lucky her. Which decade, according to you, had the best sense of style?
Well, I like the 1920s because it was such a departure from what just came before it. Like women cut their hair and they cut their
dresses.
Yeah, it became shapeless, so you would only see your body underneath it if the fabric moved. Yeah,
I like it. I like it. What is the sweetest thing you've ever done for someone you loved?
Oh, I don't know. That you would have to ask them, right? I guess just taking care of kids day in and day out, and when
sounds beautiful.
Happy.
What is the best sound in the world?
Kids laughing.
What's the last thing you searched on your phone?
Oh, I was searching about Maine. What was the search exactly? Well, Pittsfield, Maine, where they used to have big cloth wool manufacturing, and half of it was called Little Scotland. So I wanted to find the names of because it would start out one mill and then somebody else would buy it. But there are so many old mills because New England was where water power was, so they could make, that's where manufacturing was. So I'm trying to learn more about that because like when they say a woolen mill, does that mean they're making the yarn? Does that mean they're carding it? What are they in fact doing? And as it turns out, they did those two things. Then the cloth itself was woven in people's homes. And then it was brought back to, a different part of the mill, and the fabric was fulled, which is felting it essentially.
Yep.
So I want to know more about that. So I'm just searching everything I could think, the terms that might bring up more information.
Okay. What is the best pizza toppings according to you?
Olives.
I love it.
I like olives.
Okay. How do you calm yourself when you're angry?
How do I calm myself? Well, if there's water nearby, that's the best solution, is just to jump into it. Otherwise, try to meditate, but it's not always successful.
No, but over time it works. Practice. What do we need to modernize?
I think we need to modernize by learning from the past and modernize the concept of consumption and make it less.
Do you think you can have happiness without sadness?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's all a circle. So it's like, what's your degree of happiness? I think they're both ephemeral and I mean, not that I want people to have sadness, but there's different degrees of sadness, but it's it's just part of the whole. So I guess I would say no, ultimately.
Mary Jane?
Yes.
Let's get into some fibery questions.
Really?
So my first question is very important. Who taught you how to knit?
Oh, my next door neighbor, Kathy Kehoe, who is a teenager, and I was like 5, and she taught me how to knit, but she did not teach me how to take it off the needles and rip it all out. So I never did it again for years, but I had the muscle memory.
How was your love for fiber born?
Always. It was always there. When I would travel, always my souvenirs were textiles, basically. I just
Okay.
cloth or hats or things like that. So birth.
So before you became like the Fair Isle or stranded knitting person, what were you doing?
Well, I had moved to Maine. I had babies, and I started knitting kid sweaters just because I had kids and I didn't have friends. And you know what it's like when you start knitting, you like become obsessed. So I started out that way, and then I never had enough to buy a whole sweater's worth of yarn for myself. So I would buy sale bin stuff and make stuff for the kids. And I always just made stuff up. I followed directions, but would always change them. And then I started, since I had all the different colors, I started making patterns. And that's how I started. So before I was doing color work, I was doing stripes.
But did you have like, because right now that's your full-time job, right? So you said before that you were working like in advertising and stuff?
I have had a billion jobs in my life. I've worked in cheese shops. I worked every form of retail you could possibly imagine. In New York, although I have an art degree in printmaking, I always worked in fashion or advertising, but an adjunct. So the advertising I did, I was the art director's assistant. So I would find, I was the finder or the maker. Like, we painted faux finishes in fancy people's apartments. We did their floors. I painted silk for Oscar de la Renta seasonally. You name it, I've probably done it. I mean,
that's so amazing.
I waitress for years. It still is like, you can make a lot of money in a short amount of time, and time is money.
Well, maybe not now, but before the pandemic.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing ashamed to being a waitress. It's just that you're not compensated. Never mind. It's the United States. So, you get $2 an hour. You wouldn't, if there are no clients, you're not getting any money.
What does the fiber community brings to you?
Companionship, I suppose. Like other people who have these strange obsessions, and it's a pretty small world. Like, I was talking to a friend this morning about, like, you can't even, if we were allowed to go into stores, you can't find big safety pins anymore because people just don't mend. But in our community, we mend, but not in the big world yet.
And even if you think that there's a lot of knitters, people are still surprised to see people knit in public.
Oh yeah.
It's really strange.
But there's more of us, so that's good.
So let's get back to Fair Island stranded knitting.
Okay.
Why? How did that become like kind of your specialty?
Just like economics to start. I just didn't have enough yarn, and if I used two, I could get, I could make something instead of like half one color and half another. I could have a thing that was both colors. And it was fun. And I guess just like through Instagram or something, I got known. I also worked in a yarn shop, so I met people that way. I met Pam Allen, who at the time, well, she was writing a book at the time, but she became the editor of Interweave Knits.
Mm-hmm.
So I was a stylist, and then I, of course, would wear my things, and she encouraged me to publish. And so that's how that started, just kind of by accident.
That's the best way to do it. I love it. Okay. You have a pretty big love story with the Shetlands, right? Because it's funny, I interviewed Diane Brown from the Suburban Stitcher, and she was supposed to go on a tour with you. Yeah. So describe to me the girl in Canada who's never been in Scotland. Tell me about the Shetlands in one word.
Shetland.
Shetland. Sorry.
So in one word, you're not allowed to say the Shetlands, because you would be referring to ponies or dogs. The islands, there are a lot of them. So one word is windswept.
Okay. If you were trying to sell me your tour, how would you do that?
Can I use more than one word?
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
Adventure. So we take you around to all the people that we can, who are our friends who are in the business. We take you to the mill, we take you to the wool brokers, and then people invite us into their homes, and we drive all around. And we also, what I think makes our trips a little different than other people's, is that we like to go on walking tours, because you really can see the islands better on foot. And in Scotland, there's the right to roam. So that means as long as you shut the gates and you don't like walk across planted fields or let the sheep out, you can cross anybody's land. And it's just spectacular scenery and birds and otter if you're lucky, ponies. It's a beautiful place, and you're never far from the sea. So
I've been doing some research before I spoke to you, right? And I was looking at their website and it looks incredible. Like I need to go to Scotland sometime soon. Well, hopefully.
yeah, and people there are really nice. It's a beautiful place.
What was the motivation behind writing the books?
Well, the Stitch dictionaries I was asked to write. So I was asked to a sort of internet friend. It was way early internet friend suggested me to her publisher, and so they came to me and they already knew it was going to be called 200 Fair Isle Motifs, and I said I'll do it, but I want it to be really Fair Isle knitting, not just stranded knitting, because Fair Isle knitting is a particular type of stranded knitting.
Yep.
So then I got to do that, and I arranged it as a Stitch dictionary. And one of the first reviews on Amazon was, oh, I was so looking forward to the book, but there were no little animals and there were no, roses, flowers. And that's because that's Scandinavian knitting. And so then I was able to do the second book because
It is 150 Scandinavian motifs. I know, I have it.
those motifs are traditional in that kind of stranded knitting. So, and then lately my new book, I just have it here, Fair Isle Weekend.
It's on the way.
It was to make a sweet little travel book, travel and textile book. So it's 8 projects that you would wear if you were in Fair Isle, because to get there you have to go on a little tiny airplane and you can't bring much with you. So what would you bring? And that's what I would bring.
That's amazing. I love it. I love it.
All shot on Fair Isle, so the pictures are all Fair Isle itself, the island.
What's your biggest fiber dream?
That everyone in the world could have all the yarn they want. That the North American wool pool will be able to sustain and support itself because of all the people who love wool.
Okay. So right now you're a pretty well-known, established designer. You've done all kinds of stuff with many, many people. Is there still someone that you'd love, like a maker, a designer, whoever, to have like your dream collaborations with?
Oh God, these are such hard questions. So many like new people that I'm just becoming aware of, like with Instagram, right? It's so big. And there's like, I follow way too many people, so I don't see anybody anymore. Like, no, I know. I don't know. All the new youngsters, I want to work with them.
That's awesome.
In particular, but
it's fair enough.
So exciting that there's so many like people doing it.
For winter 2021, Norgon and yourself, Norgon asked you to be collaborating on this beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I'm in it.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Yes, that's how we know each other.
And honestly, Mary Jane, I have to be honest. I was subscribing to Vogue many years ago and I stopped because I didn't like it. And this is the first issue in a long time that I want to knit probably more than half of the patterns in there. It's a gorgeous issue, I have to say.
There are a lot of things I want to knit in there too. Yeah.
So were there any challenges making this beautiful thing during the pandemic?
Yeah, it was like, and we had never done it before. Like we both worked in the industry for a long time, and Nora was, the head of design at Barocco, and we've both been around the block, but it was a completely and totally new experience, and especially in the pandemic where like we could only work with our friends, which are fine, but it was still a challenge. Yeah, it was thinking back on it, it was pretty intense, and we had to do it in a really short amount of time. we have a really incredible art director, Emily Jones. So who had worked on the magazine before. So she was aware of some internal, how things work. But it was sort of like a Judy Garland movie with like, let's put on a show,
I love it. This is so amazing. And what did you enjoy the most about this adventure?
I love to work with Nora, like just the meeting of the minds, and now Emily too. It's like it's a really intense and wonderful creative experience. So, and we
So are
know
you going to be back for the next issue?
the next issue too, not in as broad a role as the first issue. A lot of the first issue logistics I was actually doing, and so I have a lot less of that. I'm more on the like article end of it, but Easter Sunday I'm driving to Nora's and we're going to New York for a shoot, so I'm going to work on one of the shoots.
That's awesome. I'm excited for that. So when is that coming out?
All vaccinated. It's supposed to come out the end of July. It's the fall issue, but
okay.
Yeah, we have a new printer. So I also don't know the logistics completely. So.
All right.
We'll get it to you.
Are you working on anything right now? Are you knitting on anything at the moment?
I have a new sweater that's being test knit that's called Windrock, and it's an all over stranded knitting design, and it has 2 pattern motifs, but they're arranged atypically where there's a center V section. That's one pattern motif, and then the edges are another, and it's sort of short and boxy. Anyway, I love it. And I have my niece, I sent it to Martha's Vineyard where one of my nieces lives, and she's taking pictures of her in it because I just have the small size, so she's little too. So I think it should turn out. She's a sailor girl, so we'll see. I've seen
excited,
and they took some really nice pictures.
I'm really excited to see that. What's your best fiber festival memory?
Oh, I don't know. I suppose the first Rhinebeck I ever went to. And I brought my friend, or maybe it was the second one. I brought my friend Martha we knew each other at art school, and she works in the city, and she came up on the train and we went to the fiber festival, and she was like completely blown away. She said, I thought it would just be like a couple of tents of people selling some knitting. So we kind of blew her mind.
We're pretty intense. Love it. Okay. What is the project you're the proudest of?
Right now it is my Fair Isle book, Fair Isle Weekend, because I essentially did all of it myself and learned as much as I'd done books before. To do it yourself is really, really hard. And then I ended up having a wonderful publisher, Lana Publication in Finland. So now it's in Finnish too. So I guess I'm very proud that I have a book in Finnish.
It's so impressive. I love it. Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question. It's like asking you which of your child you like the most. What's your absolute favorite fiber or yarn to work with? Where is it from? What is it? Tell me.
Okay, well, dearest to my heart is my friend's yarn. I usually have it like lying around here someplace. So this is called Mucklemarl, and it's from Nash Island, which is a little island down East Maine. And it's the natural sheep gray, and then the natural white is overdyed. So they're both overdyed. And it's really pretty colors, like misty colors. Yeah. So,
oh my God. This is
pretty.
Awesome.
And then I really love just the white color she has. Because the white is so white from those island sheep. I don't know why, but
it's gorgeous.
Bleach or something.
All right. So I'm asking a new question in 2021.
Okay.
I'd like you to shout out your favorite company right now, a small maker, somebody new in the business, could be something not related to fiber. Is there like a maker that you're in love with at the moment?
Well, I love Vesuvio Crafts. So he lives in Georgia right now, and he's primarily a crochet artist. And he is doing some color work, crochet color work that it looks, not to say to look like crochet is a bad thing, but he does some crochet that looks like it's knit. Like you have to like, is that really? Because, we're blowing things up on phones. So he's got a cowl out now that's really beautiful. So Vincent Williams is his name.
I love him. He's such a gentle guy. I love him.
Well,
second last question, Mary Jane. Are you a compulsive or a disciplined yarn buyer?
compulsive.
So what if you have insomnia, you're gonna wake up at night and just scroll on your phone and make yarn purchase? They're gonna arrive and say, oh, I forgot about that.
No, I'm not really an online shopper. I'll say that for yarn because I need to. So, but for instance, I went to Australia and there was a lot of yarn that had glitter in it. And I have a whole stash of like glitter yarn that I really like and I have to use.
I'm really surprised.
I know, right? It seems so wrong.
That's so awesome.
But it's so right.
I love it.
Yeah, so I have searched online at night glitter yarn, and I haven't found a good one. So you people out there, send
them to Mary Jane. I love it. Okay, we're at the end. My last question is not really a question. I'm rolling out the red carpet for you. Plug yourself. Tell us what's in or what's coming or whatever is in the cards for Mary Jane Mucklestone.
I don't know. You guys tell me, what do you want, and I will do it if I could. If I can do that. I want to make a book with my friend Janny about Nash Island sheep. So we kind of have a plan. We've had a plan for years to do that. So hopefully that will come together. It's the pandemic, so still, and we don't want anybody. I mean, nobody lives on the island but sheep, but still. Yeah, I'm going to the shearing at the end of May, beginning of July. So if I have stuff I don't know, if I can get it done either this year or next year.
So we still gonna see you in Vogue Knitting, the magazine.
Yeah, yep.
And your book is actually available. I know around me it's available like all over the place. So I have a bunch of friends who are retailers, and this is really exciting.
You're so much better at this than me. I'm so bad at promoting.
Well, I'm in Canada, so I try to support like my friends, but I know that it's available at the Knitting Loft. It's available at Unraveled in Perth. It's available at Saskia in Montreal. It's available through my friend online at Farm to Cable. So yeah.
You can get it that way. Yeah, try your local yarn shop first because we want them to stay in business. And otherwise, yeah, there's local places to get it. And if you still can't find it, you can order it from Finland. Which is, I think, not a big deal in the UK, in Europe, but it's harder for us because of shipping costs, and the UK too. I think that shipping costs are a lot. But anyway, see, no, I can't end on that. That's like a downer note.
No, it's a good note. I know where it is. I'll put informations below if you're in Canada, actually.
Thanks.
That's amazing. Mary Jane, that was you have no idea how happy I am at a chance to chat with you today. That was amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I hope we see each other. If I come to Montreal, I'll just keep driving west
And then you can stop and then we can go to Toronto. I'll take you to like the best yarn shop in Toronto.
That would be really, I would love to go. I've only driven through Toronto, so never stopped.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
All right, bye-bye.